Okay, episode 6 of Tell Emma Your Dilemma. My new weekly, almost weekly video series at Emma Heywood Hypnosis. I'll be here. I'll take a little bit of a break over the holidays, but I'll be back in the flow in January. And actually, I'm going to link a form here where you can submit your dilemma anonymously. And so I can get to more dilemmas in the coming weeks. Okay, and so I'm still playing around a little bit with both kind of reading the specific dilemmas submitted and also still generalizing it. I kind of did that last week a little bit because I know that whatever submitted, whatever dilemma you're going through, someone else has gone through something similar, is going through something similar. We know that. So that's going to kind of be how today, I'm going to reference a specific situation. Today it's going to be a friendship. We're talking about friendship dilemma and navigating friendship shifts. And it's so interesting because this was submitted and then it's also been conversations that have been coming up with people I've been talking to lately, clients and just people and friends and stuff. And actually it's been something that I've been navigating this year is friendship shifts. And in society we focus so much on like romantic relationships or family relationships that we don't often talk about when a friendship dynamic changes or a friendship breakup happens and how painful it is. And back in my 20s, I went through a friendship breakup, which was really hard. And actually this year I'm navigating just friendship changes of the dynamic. And before I kind of get into today's dilemma, I just want to share something I've been reflecting on is if you're going through something similarly, and what I've been doing is giving myself a beat before knowing I want to reach out to a friend, but like first grounding into moving through things in myself and in my life, grounding into what I want and what I want to communicate and being ready to receive what they need to communicate too, because it's both, right? And sometimes we don't need to rush these things. We live in such a fast-paced world of like, okay, I have to work through this right now and answer me right now. And again, you get a message, you get an email, you get a this. You're like, I have to answer right now. It's like sometimes we just need a beat, and sometimes a beat can be a few months, and that's okay. That's okay. So that's one of my first pieces of advice is to give yourself a beat if you need a beat. So by the way, on the Tell Emma Your Dilemmas, it's going to be different things. So in the recent episodes, sometimes I've given like specific like coaching tools or questions or therapeutic tools. Sometimes it's going to be more just like, let's just chat. Like I'm your friend because I am your friend. And let's just, if you need some advice, I'm here. Because we're all navigating things, we're all navigating life. Like one thing actually I'm thinking about with friendship, relationships and dynamics is like, we are all complex. Humans are complex. We're complicated. We are not perfect. And we, the more we can learn to give ourselves grace, we can learn to give others grace. And so often when we're being in friendship changes, when we're not feeling seen or heard or valued or a wound is being activated, so often it's a past version of ourselves, right? And this is the work I do with you in RTT and hypnotherapy and in my practices, going back and identifying what our wounds are, what our traumas are, what our pain is, what the moments of our past where we didn't feel seen, valued, heard, so we can heal that. So then when we're adults and we're being triggered, when we don't feel seen, valued, heard, we're not gonna, lash out. We're not gonna, that we can actually be with those parts of ourselves and say, okay, how can I first meet my need here now? Because anytime we expect someone else to meet our needs, whether it's romance, friendships, partners, work, whatever, we're giving our power away, right? When we can learn to meet our own needs and create safety in ourselves, that's liberation, that's healing. That's, anyway, so I think anytime we're navigating relationships, I still will always give the invitation of like, where else can you look inside? I've been on that journey too this year. Where else can I keep looking inside? Anyway, let me get into the specific dilemma today because we'll get specific and then we'll make it broad. So this person shared with me, so friend one, I'll call it friend one, friend two. So friend one shared that they had a conflict with friend two recently. And they've been friends for decades, like 30 years. But then in the last 4 or 5 years, the friendship has changed. Friend one basically was getting tired of friend two's just very draining energy, but didn't fully communicate that. They're also, they're couples, so it's like a couple and a couple. So that also just complicates things, right? Because you're navigating lots of people. And basically recently, so they're still friends, but it just wasn't as deep. And friend two hasn't liked that, has been upset for the past few years now. So recently, there was a miscommunication, and friend two sent a text saying basically, don't do this and I'll talk to you when I'm ready. To which friend one was confused because it's like, wait, I didn't do this thing and you're not giving me a chance to explain myself. And some of the hurt that was there is, wait a second, you're making this assumption right now, not asking me what really happened, and also disregarding our 30 years of friendship where you know my character. And something that happened with friend, I'll put this down for a second, but friend two, anytime that I know we live in a, age of technology, but anytime we kind of hide behind technology, a text, an email, it's a form of power, right? And relationships are about power, navigating power, but you're not giving the other person a chance to, you're like, friend two basically decided the rules. Like, I'm in power. I want to assert my power. I'm not going to give you a chance to respond. It's on my terms, right? Kind of like, I'm going to punish you for the past few years where you shifted something, and that wasn't in my power. I felt disempowered, so I'm going to reassert my power. So basically what friend one's dilemma is how do I navigate this forward? Oh, I also forgot. Friend two is about to move away. And basically, so there's a time limit on this. So the dilemma is, how do I navigate this? Do I salvage this friendship and have a discussion, or do I let it go because they're about to move and maybe it's run its course? So, and especially when there's a long friendship of like 30 years, it's that's a lot. And whether you have a long friendship you're dealing with, I actually spoke to someone recently who, it's a long friendship, but the dynamic has changed as well. And I was saying this to them, and I'm going to say this right now too, is first asking yourself, what do I want, And so when you look at the 30-year friendship, almost like naming and writing out, okay, these are all the things that I really loved about the friendship. These are the pros. And then also being like, wait, these are things I didn't love about the friendship. And looking at this and saying, okay, which one is more worth it? If the better things are more, maybe that's something I want to salvage. If the things that aren't as good as more, that's asking yourself, okay, maybe it's not worth salvaging. And also, if it's not worth salvaging, and again, I can't tell you, I'm just inviting you to have the reflection, and giving yourself the space to grieve it. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to mourn, chapters of your life. I had a friendship shift in my 20s, and I often think about this person and I'm like, I'm sad because we had such an amazing time for the 7 years we were in relationship. And I look at that time with gratitude and sadness, and it's okay to have all of it, right? Life is full of chapters. It's that classic line, people are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And the older we get, the more it's like, oh, that was a reason, that was a season, and it was a lifetime. And maybe, and I even think about this person, like maybe we'll come back to each other in 10, 20 years. Who knows? That's a beautiful thing about life, is that we don't know. But I think right now, just asking yourself, looking at those kinds of pros and cons and what feels more worth it. And, if it is a conversation you want to have, I would say having a conversation with this person, so friend one, have a conversation with friend two in a neutral place. So you're not at either of each other's houses, because there's already a power dynamic there, in a neutral place, and going in knowing that each of you get to speak. You get to speak your truth. They get to speak their truth. And another invitation is, sometimes we also just as humans want to be witnessed. We all just want to be seen, we want to be witnessed. And so part of that is saying, let's say friend two says their truth first. Friend one saying back, this is what I heard you say. This is what I heard you feel. So that they feel seen. It's like, okay, you said all of this. You're acknowledging their experience. And then friend one saying, okay, and this is my experience. And let me acknowledge all of that. And then friend two being, okay, this is what I heard you say. This is your experience. To really having that fair communication back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. and really, listening. So often when we talk, we're talking to like get our next point across. It's like, are we receiving? Are we receiving truly what the other person is saying? Because my feeling is that friend 2 is actually hurt, but they don't know how to fully communicate the hurt or drop into it. So they're going into attack mode. I'm going to assert my power. And so when we can kind of communicate in a way where we can slow down, to be like, okay, let me drop into this. Let me drop into the hurt here and see each other. And we can do that by slowing down. But then also, if this person's moving away, again, before this conversation, asking yourself, what do I want from this discussion? Is it, I want to salvage and recreate a friendship? Or is it a conversation where let's both hear each other and then put it to bed? And that's okay too. What I said, reason, season, lifetime. Again, only you can fully answer that. And it's also being okay with perhaps being rejected, and our greatest fear as humans is to be rejected. And so there is a risk of, okay, let's say I want to salvage a friendship and I want it to be this, and that person says, you know what, I don't want that anymore. And sometimes we were like, oh, yeah, it hurts. And so instead of even taking that risk, I'm not going to even try. But without risk in life, there's no reward. And so, okay, my dilemma is getting a little bit long, so I'm going to wrap this up in a minute. But I think the main advice I want to share for this dilemma is tuning into what do you want, giving yourself a beat to ground into that and what you want to communicate. How much you may want to rehash some of the past, or maybe you want to just, share some recent hurt and then navigate about what you want in the future. Listening in a neutral place and allowing both parties to communicate. The fine balance of listening and speaking your truth. And then taking a risk. Maybe you're both on the same page, but maybe you're not on the same page. And then knowing what you can do to support yourself if you take the risk and they don't want it, and saying, okay, it's not what I wanted, and I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling hurt, I'm feeling a wound from this, and then what you can do for yourself to allow yourself to move through that hurt. That might be another dilemma, actually. Actually, maybe next time I can do an episode on how we can give ourselves the space to move through ickier, stickier, uncomfortable emotions. I don't think any emotion is good or bad. They're all information, but our job is to move through them. So yeah, that's our episode today about friendship, navigating friendship, relationships. But I think the main thing is, or just that reminder that like, they're just as valuable and complicated as any relationship in life, romance, family, friendship. It's about, communication and, but also advocating for yourself, Okay. That's today's episode. Thank you for the submission. If you have any questions, thoughts, comments, anything, I'm here. I'm an email away. Maybe I'm going to riff on how we navigate deeper feelings. Okay. I'm rambling now. Mwah! Big love to you all. And I'll catch you next time.